It's Joy, and welcome to the 14th episode of the AGTube Central podcast series. Today we have Innerstarstudios13 as our guest.
Hi everyone, I'm Lizzie from Innerstarstudios13. I basically do a lot of AGSMs and I do some other kinds of videos just randomly. But I mostly do AGSMs because that's really what I like to do, and I think they're really fun, even though they can take a really long time.
Nice. Yeah, they can definitely take a really long time, but they're totally worth it in the end.
Yes.
So, you're actually pretty new to YouTube, and you just started your channel like 2 months ago, but you've already reached 100 subscribers and over 3,000 total views. And
yeah,
go ahead.
Sorry. That shocked me very much. I thought I wouldn't have 100 subscribers until like 2 or 3 years out.
Yeah, yeah, seriously, it's crazy how quickly your channel has grown.
Yeah, a lot of people have just been really, really kind and supportive of my channel, including you. So thank you for that.
Aw, you're welcome. Your channel's awesome.
Thank you.
So I wanted to start off with a little bit of getting to know you questions, since some of our viewers might not have found your channel yet. And by the way, if you guys haven't heard of her channel, the link will be in the description and you should totally check it out. We'll start off easy, and then I was thinking we could switch things around and have you ask me some questions about the AGTube community and maybe other questions you might have wanted to answer over the past few months.
That sounds great.
Okay, so the first question I have here is, do you remember how you found AGTube?
So, I didn't really know AGTube existed until maybe April, May or June of last year, 2020, because AG Academy Productions, she is actually my best friend. We know each other outside of AGTube. Mm-hmm. She found Mixie Pixie 7. She was just looking for videos and she found her, and then she was like, you should check her out. So I checked her out and I really, really liked it. And I was like, this is so cool. And I was just blown away how they were actually moving. I actually had done stop motions previously before that with American Girl Dolls. I just didn't really know there were a ton of people who did that. Mm-hmm. Now I'm part of the AGTube community, and that's just crazy that I didn't even know it existed a year ago.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, like, I probably would not still be into American Girl Dolls if I hadn't found AGTube, because I don't even know why or how I found it. Like, if I was looking up American Girl on YouTube just because I thought it'd be cool because I'm like, okay, well, I have these dolls, let me just see if there's anything about it on YouTube. And, like, the weird thing is I didn't even watch YouTube very much back then. And, like, I probably would have grown out of my dolls and ended my collection and, like, not have found anything to do with stop motion or animation or anything like that, which I really enjoy doing, and I'm really glad I found it.
That makes a ton of sense. I don't even know where I would be I know where I would be, but I don't really know what I would be doing if I didn't have a hobby like this, because I just don't really know what else there is to do.
Yeah, and it's kind of nice and also kind of annoying that it takes so long, because if you have a really slow day, you can just film a stop motion and it takes most of your day. But then, like, if you don't have much time, then it's really annoying that it takes a long time.
It is. I filmed my Christmas special over Christmas break, but I still had some schoolwork to do, and I was very pressured, but I'm glad I got it done.
Yeah, same. I was, like, trying to finish up some schoolwork and filming a ton, and, like, it was very chaotic, but it was really fun.
Yeah.
So, when did you start collecting American Girl dolls?
So, let me think. It was Christmas of 2014. I had some Our Generation dolls and My Life dolls. I can't remember exactly which kind, but my mom didn't really think I was ready for an actual one until I was older. I can't really say my age, but until I was older in 2014. So that's when I got my first doll, who was Hannah. I didn't still do that good of a job taking care of her, but I finally got her a new wig, and I think it looks a lot better than what she used to have.
Yeah, that's cool. I actually never had any other brand well, okay, I had like the baby dolls and stuff, but American Girl were, even now, they're like the only doll brand that doesn't kind of freak me out. Like, our generation dolls, like, I don't know, there's something about them that just, they're growing on me more, but I've always just preferred American Girl dolls.
I totally understand that. My mom was like, what about your other dolls? And I'm just like, I don't really, I'm an AGTuber, not an Our Generation Journey Girl in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, although the accessories and clothes and stuff are super helpful if you're trying to get cheap doll clothes.
Most of my stuff is actually from off-brand sellers. But, I mean, I totally support people who don't have American Girls and who, like, can't have them. So, but that, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of the clothes are really cute. The Our Generation and My Life clothes and stuff are really cute.
Or I actually have Grace sitting next to me. You can't see that, but she's wearing Our Generation clothes right now.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I feel like American Girl clothes, I don't know, sometimes they're cute, but I honestly, usually my cuter clothes are from either Etsy or Our Generation. Or like old American Girl.
I feel like American Girl has always been geared toward younger kids, but I feel like it's been kind of going really toward younger kids.
Yeah.
Just their new collections and everything. I did get the Travel the World, the Ireland outfit.
Yeah, that one was really cute. Although I thought it was funny how, I mean, they were going for, I guess, stereotypes and not accurate.
I know.
It's like, people don't dress like that. Although, I guess it's not a huge difference. I mean, you could do, like, cultural, like, staples of clothing and have it be recognizable as that country. But, like, for the most part, people dress, I guess, kind of the same as you would here, except for slightly different.
My friend actually lives in Japan, and I showed her the outfit for Tokyo, and she was like, we do not wear that.
Yeah, that'd be funny if everyone just walked around looking like anime characters or something.
That would just be really weird. Like, if there was another doll company somewhere else, and then they came out with a Travel the World line, and Americans were like, I don't even know what it would be like.
Yeah, that's weird. What would you, like, let's see, for the people who are commenting, if you don't live in the United States, because if you live in the United States, it might be kind of harder to think of one. But for anyone who doesn't live in the United States, what would you think of as, like, an outfit for dolls? If there was, like you were saying, like a Travel the World, but America compared to, like, the Japan and Ireland and France one, like, what would you make it? Because that'd be interesting to see what other people have to, like, what they would make it.
That is very interesting.
So also, have you made any AGSMs that you ended up not posting?
Yes, I have. I actually started filming an AGSM for my YouTube channel back. I knew I was going to start my YouTube channel maybe in September. I took a very long time to prepare, almost 2 months. I started making a stop motion movie kind of as an introduction to my channel. It was about a girl who was liking dolls, but then she went to, like, her cousin's house, but she and her cousin used to be really close friends. I'm trying to remember. But her cousin had grown out of dolls, and she thought they were creepy and weird. The story went somewhere else, but that was basically the gist of it. But I never finished that. I got more than halfway through, but I don't know what happened to that.
Oh, yeah. Do you think you'll ever finish it?
Hannah was the star, and she had her old wig on, and my stop motion was really not that good back then, so I might try to redo it, but probably never the original one that I has.
Makes sense. That's what I did for my 5-minute stop motion, because I had started it before I built my dollhouse, and, like, even just throughout filming it, I was at a point in filming where the longer I took to film the movie, the more obvious the improvement of my stop motion skills were, which is like, that's a good thing that you can see improvement, but it also makes the whole stop motion kind of choppy, like it's not consistent. But it was cool. It was interesting.
Definitely go back just to my Christmas special, and sometimes I just cringe at parts. I'm like, oh, I could have done that better. And still,
it's still crazy. Yeah, it's crazy how long it takes to figure out how to do stuff. And even though I guess a lot of it is, technique, but then the majority of it is just having the patience to move your dolls so little that it makes it super smooth.
It's also sometimes hard because I don't have a camera yet, and I just film on an iPad. So I finally have found a pretty good app to do that on. The pictures are crisp. Nice. But it's definitely harder to do it. There's definitely some challenges to filming on an iPad, but there are some pros. Like, you don't have to transfer it to a computer, and then there's still a lot of editing, but
yeah, I filmed on an iPad and a phone for like the first year or so. I actually filmed my actual stop motions on like an iPhone, like what is it, like a 4 or maybe it's an iPhone like 6. But it's like a really tiny iPhone that had barely enough storage for me to even make stop motions, and then I had to like go back and delete them so I could make another one. But it worked. I don't like, the phone basically doesn't work anymore now, but it worked at the time. But yeah, I think you can do so much with the different equipment, and it's really fun to learn how to use it.
Yes, it definitely is. I asked for a lot of filming equipment for Christmas, this past Christmas, and I finally got like lighting. I got a dollhouse.
Ooh, nice.
I got I had bought a tripod on my own because I was filming with the American Girl, the gymnastics set. I was filming with the gymnastics bar, and I had to stack it up on boxes. It was not the best. But I got some of those, I forget what they're called, but they're little remote things, and you can press them and then it takes a picture. I know they're called something different for cameras, but
I think for a camera, I think it's called a clicker, but I don't know if it's the same for a phone.
I always call it a clicker, like a clicky thing. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I have some more equipment now.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. Like, I got standing lights, I think, last year for my birthday, so almost a year ago. And the difference that just the standing lights make, and then I put more lights towards the front of my dollhouse to make it more even lighting, so the shadows of me in front of the lights wouldn't affect the actual lighting in the dollhouse, if that makes sense. And that made a huge difference. Like, it went from it being well lit to it being like steady lighting and well lit, which was good.
If you go back and watch my old videos, I had no lighting at all, and it's just I don't like watching it really, but it was still fun to make. I just didn't really have any equipment for lighting.
Yeah, same for me. Like, when I first got my dollhouse, I had absolutely no lighting, and the way the dollhouse is built, like, the roof of the level blocks out the majority of the light that would come in from my room naturally. And if you go back and look at mine, it's like I have just the beds in the dollhouse, and there's like no wall decorations, no other accessories. It like is literally the bare bones of the dollhouse, and it looks like, I love being able to look at the difference because it looks so much more like an actual house now than it did.
It took a long time to decorate my dollhouse. My mom actually helped me because it was very hard.
Yeah, it is. Like, you would think it would be easy, but to make it actually look good and make things go together, and yeah, it's hard. And very time consuming to clean it after you film.
Yeah, I had to do that last week, and it took me a long time to want to clean it.
Yeah, mine's dirty right now, and I have no... Okay, the only the only reason I would want to clean it is because I have to film. But other than that, it would stay dirty for a while.
Really, like, I go in and then I hate seeing it messy, but then I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow. And then
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, same for me.
it doesn't get clean until I have to make a stop motion.
Yeah, and it's like, even then, you just, like, sometimes I'll just move the stuff from the one level to the other level so I can film on it.
That's how mine was. Last week when I was actually filming my latest stop motion, I just moved all the stuff out of their room, but then I finally cleaned it.
Yeah. So, I have 2 more questions, and then we can move on to the part where you can ask me any questions that you have thought of. They might not have very many, but I thought it might be interesting for our maybe newer AGTube viewers, or even girls that have done it for a long time.
Yeah.
But before that, how many dolls do you have at the moment?
I have 13 dolls.
Nice.
I remember when I first bought my Josefina doll, but I never really used her after that because she was in such horrible condition.
Same for my Nikki doll.
It was, I remember the feeling. I was like, I just bought her with my own money. You feel so successful.
Yeah.
That you did something.
And the last question before we move on is, are there any other things that you would like to share with me and the viewers about your channel?
I don't really know. So one of the things is probably, I try to make my channel's content appropriate for younger kids to watch, but I try to make it interesting enough for older kids to watch.
Yeah, it's a hard balance.
It is, because a lot of the people on AGTube are teenagers and are older, but then I know I have some of my kids from my mom runs a homeschool group, and a lot of them watch it, so I have to know. I would never do anything inappropriate anyways, but I just have to make sure it's something that would interest them, but also the older kids, like the older teenagers and AGTubers, so it's very hard to balance that.
It is. I don't know how much you've looked into, like, old AGTube, but it's like the style that Mixie Pixie 7 and 4 Happy Hippos and Dancing Dolphins do, like, that's all considered, I guess, more old AGTube with just more, for lack of better terms, like, childish content, I guess.
Yeah, not really, but
I mean,
it still interests me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily that it's childish in that sense, but, like, I don't know what the, like, more fun and, like, uplifting and happy than, like, not super serious, like, comedy or just, like, fun topics that aren't super serious.
My inspiration is definitely Dancing Dolphins and Mixed Pixie 7, just because I really only knew their channel and that's all I really knew, but I'm trying to gear it toward the more happy kind of, like, I don't know, as you said, childish kind of spirit, but not really childish. It's very confusing.
Yeah, I know. I know what you mean. It's like also, I think it's kind of weird that most people picture their dolls as, like, 17-year-olds-ish, but they're really supposed to be 10-year-olds. Like, 9 and 10-year-olds is what they're supposed to be. I don't picture them as 9 and 10-year-olds, but I don't picture them. I picture them as, like, around, like, 14 or 15, which maybe that's because that's around the age that I am. So that's why I picture them as that age. Maybe that'll change as I get older, but I feel like they're like 14 and 15-year-olds without all the stress of being 14 and 15-year-olds.
Yes. I try to set my age of my dolls actually kind of higher, not really high, like 17 and 18, 19. I think Hannah is 16, so she can drive the car. But I try to set them a little higher, so for the littler kids, they can be role models. Don't follow Isabel. Isabel's not a good role model. Do not. We just have to have a sassy girl in there. But everyone else, I try to make them older, but they do, like, good things. It's things that you could, like, copy in real life. Not that you're trying to copy a doll, but they always try to make the right decision and not just. So that's why I think I kind of set it for a higher age. Not really high. I think they're mostly around 12, 13, 14, 15, just because that's also around the age I am. But, yeah.
Yeah, because I think, like, for Mixer Pixie 7, like, she's 21, I think. So,
Yeah.
her dolls are more, like, I guess, late teens age.
I don't even know how old they are.
Yeah, I don't think she says specific ages just because it's hard to, like, I don't know, if you're gonna tell someone that your doll is that age, it's like, what do you do? Do you have them get older as you get older, or do they not get older? Like, do they just stay that age? Like,
It's very confusing.
it is. It's like, it's almost like they have a whole different, like, time thing that they're living in.
I feel like as long as my channel goes, hopefully it's for quite a while because I really enjoy doing this, but I feel like my dolls will always be around the same age. I've never really set an age for them, but I feel like they'll always be around the younger to mid-teens.
Mm-hmm. And that might just change naturally, like, as you get older, because you're writing from the perspective of an older teenager, so then it's like you just more naturally gravitate towards them being older. But yeah, I really like AGTube for that younger aspect of it. I like being able to have the more lighthearted, fun themes and have it not be so serious, like, because I don't know, I like the whole, like, childhood aspect of the community.
I'm actually really glad. I feel like, as you said, I would have grown out of dolls by now, but I'm really glad I have this hobby. I feel like when I tell people on my channel, I always explain that I'm a stop motion animation channel, but I use dolls.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been more into dolls, not really like just sitting down playing with them, as you said, but I've been using them more than when I was the actual age that they were meant for, just because I don't even know what I was doing when I was, that age.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I feel like also, like, what I'm able to do with them is so much cooler than, like, just, I mean, not that anyone who doesn't do stop motion isn't, like, you know, doing something cool with their dolls, but I feel like as an older kid, like, it also makes people less skeptical, I guess, that it's stop motion. Like, as soon as I show them that it's stop motion, they're like, oh wait, that's actually kind of cool. Like, even if they think the dolls are creepy, sometimes they'll be like, I think the doll's creepy, but the stop motion part of it's cool.
I've had a lot of support about my channel just from my friends. Like, a lot of my friends don't, just because I'm older, they don't really, like, have dolls, but they've been really, really supportive about me and my posting and stuff. Even if they don't like dolls, and no one's ever come up to me and been like, oh, that's weird. Like, don't. So even if it's not like what they do, they're still, a lot of people actually subscribe to me who are my friends, even though they don't really like it. But that's really nice that they have done that.
Yeah, and then also I think it's cool, like, because some of my friends have younger siblings who are still into dolls, or they had dolls some point when they were younger, so I think that's kind of cool.
It is.
So, like,
and
sometimes... Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Some people are just, I mean, some of the people have been mean, but, I mean, it's not my fault that I still like doing that. And sometimes I just have to let go of that friendship because it's not really good for me to be in that friendship. And if they don't like that, that's fine. That's definitely okay. I'm not going to let anything really hurt me from doing what I love. Yeah,
and I mean, if they're your true friends, they're going to at least respect what you're doing. They're not gonna, like, make you feel bad about it, because, like I said, I think almost all of my friends think that the dolls are creepy, but they're not, like, rude about my channel. They still think that the stop motion part of it is cool. They just think that the dolls are creepy, which is, like, I don't care if they think the dolls are creepy.
I don't even understand why that stereotype came around that, like, dolls are creepy. I mean, it might be creepy that they're kind of like a miniature person kind of, but I don't even understand how you would pair that.
Yeah, like the other day, one of my friends was holding my dolls, and she's like, she like tilted it down. She's like, "Oh my gosh, it closes its eyes." I'm like, "Yup."
Yup.
It's like that's creepy to you. Like what? I mean, it's not like it. You know, there's a reason. There's like a magnet in the. You know, it's not like they're closing it by themselves. Like
No.
that would be creepy.
That would be very strange, but they're not just closing their eyes.
Yeah. Maybe that's what they're picturing. They're picturing, oh my gosh, the doll is moving by itself.
That would be very weird, but
yeah.
that's not true.
Yeah, so, okay, well, now that we have gotten to know you a bit better, it is time for you to ask all and any questions you might have had on your mind since starting AGTube, and I know it might take you a while to think of some, so no worries. But hopefully we can help clear up any questions that other kids might have as well, or maybe also thoughts that you had before starting AGTube that were very off, or things that you hoped for AGTube that didn't happen, and maybe we could work to like make the community, I don't know, better in a sense.
Yeah.
Right.
So my first question probably is, how did you get your photography so good? Because I think your photography is really good. I used to be really bad at it. I found my first picture I'd ever taken of American Girl doll, and it's really bad. But how did you like get to the point you are with your photography? Because I think it's really good.
Oh, thank you. Well, first off, like for the longest, like, I guess a lot of people think, okay, well, if you take photos with a phone, it's not going to be as good if you take a photo with a camera. But that's the case for some phones. But literally, the newer phones, like the iPhone X or the iPhone, I don't even know, the newer ones, they have insanely good cameras. And my mom got one of the newer iPhones recently. And even, like, it has such cool features that it makes the photos so crisp and clear, and like it's so good. Also editing is a huge part of it, like figuring out, like, I don't use Photoshop. I guess it's technically I guess it is Photoshop, but it's an app. I don't think it's the traditional Photoshop of what people think of like on your computer, but it's a mobile app. It's called Photoshop Fix, and then I also use Photoshop Mix. And along with just the normal edit settings that you have when you go to the photo on the device. If I take the photo with my camera, it tends to be a lot more muted with the colors, so I usually bring up the vibrance and saturation. Contrast is really good for...
Really like the contrast.
Yeah, contrast is good. And also, I tend to use brilliance over exposure.
Yes, but exposure on mine, I use a app on my iPad called Adobe Lightroom, and the exposure, whenever I take photos, mine are always really light because I always try to have good lighting, but the brilliance makes it kind of more equal when the exposure kind of makes it kind of look like a flash or something.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like even if you look at, I don't know if it's still up, but a while ago, 5 Hens and a Cockatiel did a little, like, behind the scenes, like, before and after editing for her photos. And you can see that, like, a majority of the, like, she's a great photographer to begin with. Like, her sets and everything is crazy.
Yes!
But a huge part of her photography is editing, like, adjusting the lighting. Like, you're not always going to have perfect lighting when you're taking photos.
No.
So, like, adjusting the lighting and stuff is like really important, and it can add so much to your photo if you know how to use it right. I'm not sure if you said you used Lightroom or not.
I do use an app called Adobe Lightroom, and I actually have been using my mom's iPhone 11 for photography.
Yeah, that's great.
I think it actually has a really good the pictures are really crisp and clear. And I have posted a few of my photos on YouTube, and people were asking how I got them so clear, like what kind of camera I was using, and it's just an iPhone 11. So
yeah, it really is crazy just how usually you think, oh, it's an iPhone, it's not going to take good photos, but it really does. Like, it can take really good photos.
I was in a photography contest I think it started a little before Christmas. It was the AG camera. Have you heard of her?
Yes, I think so.
So she hosted a photography contest and actually went in there. I didn't think I would win at all, but I actually ended up winning over people who actually had cameras, and I was very surprised of what a phone can do.
Yeah, it really is. Like, the girl who won my last cycle of AGPS, she was using a phone, she said, and it's really crazy.
Mm-hmm. So I have had a very hard time about making scripts. Like, I've written part of them, but then for some scenes, for my Christmas special, like, I wrote scripts for some of the scenes, but some of them I just winged it because I don't know, I just didn't want to write a script because I was already writing so many papers for school.
Yeah.
But, like, what would be the best way to get you motivated into actually writing a script?
Well, I feel like for me, when I think of an idea, usually shortly after I think of the idea is when I'm most motivated to write the script. But then also watching other people's stop motions also inspires me to want to write the script more. Sometimes I'll even work on writing the script while I'm watching stop motions, which probably isn't the most productive thing, but sometimes it gives me ideas. Like, while I'm watching a stop motion, something will come up and I'll be like, oh, I could add something similar to that, or I could, I just think of something and then I add that. But yeah, I feel like I try to think of something that interests me, and then maybe not have the whole stop motion be about that, but maybe have it be a part of it. Like, for example, I'm working on a script that has to do with my dolls learning some Shakespeare, and I'm actually going through some Shakespeare stuff in school right now, so I thought it would be cool to incorporate that into a stop motion. So, like, stuff like that, which I thought would be cool because we had to write down different phrases and idioms that originated from Shakespeare. And so I'm, like, sneaking those into the script and stuff, and it makes it really fun to write because it's almost like it's almost like a inside joke kind of thing where only if you know Shakespeare will you get that there's more Shakespeare in there than the stuff that's obviously Shakespeare. Like, yeah, it's interesting. But then also, like, I could send it to my friends and they'll get it more than, people who don't know much about Shakespeare might get it.
Yeah.
And it's fun, and then I can also just make an interesting storyline, and that makes the voiceovers fun because I get to do, like, accents, or I get to do, just make my dolls dramatic and stuff, so that's fun.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I am trying to get motivated because I had this idea for just not a stop motion movie or anything, but for a stop motion where I just actually ended up we just ended science fair in my school, and I actually ended up winning. That's kind of random.
Nice, congratulations.
Thank you. But I'm gonna make one about where one of my dolls has to go through a science fair, and then just a lot of stuff happens because I know my science fair was very stressful.
Yeah.
So I could kind of do that, but if I added kind of like a twist of like fun and just that kind of stuff into it.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of doing something similar with the science fair, so that's cool.
I feel like YouTube is a good place to start if you ever can, like, people watching, if you ever want social media or anything like that.
Yeah, and especially, like, even if you do decide to have a channel, like, the whole aspect, or not you, but, like, for people who have a YouTube account, if they do decide to start a YouTube channel, like, the whole aspect of growing a YouTube channel and making videos, like, there is so much to learn about it. Whether or not you're doing some big group like gaming or vlogging or whatnot, there's so much to learn. Like, you're filming your own videos, you're editing your own videos, you're posting them, you're attempting to grow a following on your channel, and it's very complicated.
It is. I remember the reason, and if you went channel, the reason I started is because I wanted people to be able to see my videos. I never started because I wanted popularity.
Mhm.
I never started because I wanted fame or to be like 𝔸𝕠𝕦𝕥.
Yeah.
I started because I wanted to share my videos with the world, and I will never just go like ask people for to subscribe to me just because I feel like that's wrong.
Yeah, it's like, it doesn't really matter. Like, it's a really cool thing to have people subscribe to your channel and find your channel and, like, enjoy the stuff that you enjoy. But also, it's the same things like sub for sub. It's like, if they don't like your channel and they're not going to watch it, the subscription is pointless. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean anything.
I've seen like some people on just random, I just sometimes like read comments just because like not on random videos, just on AGTube, just because I like to see what people think or what their thoughts on the video are. But sometimes I see people like, I just subscribed to you, can you subscribe back?
Yeah.
I just feel like, I mean, maybe they're really interested in their channel, maybe they will subscribe, but sometimes it just kind of feels wrong at a point. Just because they'll subscribe if they want to. They see your channel in the comments.
Yeah, and like, I subscribe to most of the channels that I see in my comments. Like, if you're active in my comments, I probably am subscribed to you.
Yeah.
Well, we have been recording for an hour, but I think we went off topic a bit. If you have other questions, then...
One of my questions would probably... I'm trying to think. So one of my questions would probably be like, how, this is also very random, but how do you balance like your normal life and then your like YouTube life? How do you keep that balanced and everything?
I feel like it kind of falls in place for the most part because I have to just be like, okay, well, I know I literally can't work on my channel unless I'm done with school or I'm done with other things. And which, for the most part, that leaves me with a lot less time than I wish I would have for actual filming stop motions and stuff like that. Like, I haven't filmed a stop motion in a while, but I'm actually hoping to film one today. I feel like just not setting too high expectations for yourself, because if you start, and for over a year I posted pretty consistently every single week, but this school year especially, it's been really hard for me to post every week. And I feel like sometimes I'm like, okay, well, if I don't post every week, people are probably going to unsubscribe. But if they really like enjoy your channel, they're probably not going to just go through their subscriptions and be like, okay, who hasn't posted in a week? Okay, I'm going to unsubscribe to them and them and them. Like, hopefully people would not just unsubscribe to you if you don't post in 1 week. But if you are super inactive and only post like once a month or something, then I feel like you could try to post more frequently. It all depends on what time you have. Like, I know some girls, when they only post stop motions, they only post like once a month because that's all they only have enough time to make one stop motion a month. And if I only posted stop motions, then yeah, I would only be able to post one stop motion a month as well.
Yes.
But I like being able to include other types of videos in as well, which makes it nice. But as for like actually balancing school and YouTube, I tend to mostly just do my stuff on the weekends and try to focus on
I normally do.
Yeah, for a while, I filmed, edited, and posted all of my videos on Saturdays. Like, I didn't work on them during the week. I didn't really, I guess for the stop motions I didn't do that, but for all the rest of the videos, I don't remember if I did that for any stop motions. Maybe for like the shorter ones that I filmed, because I hadn't really done any like 3-minute like kind of 𝔸𝕠𝕦𝕥 style stop motions before, like a few months ago. But I remember I used to film, edit, and post all my videos on Saturday. And I don't know how I managed to get them out. Like, they weren't great quality, but I like kind of rushed it as well. So I feel like definitely focus on quality over quantity, and then not having high expectations.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Like, my posting schedule is always usually on Wednesdays. Sometimes over the holidays I will post a little more frequently because, you know, I have more time. but as you say, I always want them to be good quality. I've seen some channels like reacting to my old videos. I never want to look back on my channel. Like, let's say I still have it maybe like 3 years from now. I never want to look back on my channel and be like, oh, that's so horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I always want to feel like I know that I did my best even when I was like newer to AGTube, and I don't want to look down on my videos.
For me, like, my stop motions originally were really choppy, had bad lighting and stuff. But instead of saying, oh my gosh, my videos were so bad and cringy, so like you could be like, wow, look at how much my channel has grown and how much I've grown as a filmmaker. Like, just focusing on the positives, I guess.
I think it's great to see how much they've grown and everything. That's just crazy, like, to see how far Mixed 7 has even come.
Yeah.
But I never want to like look down on anything like that.
Mm-hmm. It's like, I was talking to, actually, well, this wasn't exactly what she said, but basically, I was talking to another AGTuber a while ago, and she was saying how, like, there are no bad filmmakers. We're all just at different levels of learning, like, how to make it. Like, we're all doing our best that we can at the moment. None of us are purposely making bad videos, and so none of the videos are bad. They're just still growing their talent for that area. Like, if it's your first time baking a cake from scratch and you don't use a recipe, like, your cake is probably not gonna be very good. But you still tried your best, and you're still, like, that doesn't mean you can't make a good cake, like, once you figure it out. It just means at the moment you're still learning and growing, and you need people to come alongside you and help you learn how to do it better.
That is very well said. The last thing I would probably say is, this is also kind of random, but how do you try to keep your content the same, like similar, all in like the same kind of style, but also keep it different, like make the variety of videos that you post different, instead of just posting like either like normal videos in a row or just stop motions or things like that?
I feel like I've been trying to work on that more. I feel like I've been trying to post more consistently, mostly stop motions, because I know that that's what I enjoy watching the most, or at least incorporating a stop motion into a separate video, like I did for my lookbook. Like, I filmed stop motion.
That was really cool.
And that way it's something that I feel like is more intriguing than just if I just panned through the different outfits. Other than that, I feel like I don't know if I really am the best person to ask about that, because I feel like my videos are somewhat random. Like, they're not really related. Like, I know 𝔸𝕬𝕐67, like, usually her videos somewhat build off of each other. Like, they'll mention something that happened in a previous stop motion or something like that to help it be kind of all knit together. I'm trying to work on that a little bit more with my past 2 stop motions, like the glasses paper and the sleepover are the 2 stop motions that I'm most proud of right now. But other than that, I feel like my videos tend to revolve around the season.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, so it's and as for like how the thumbnails look together, I'm definitely not the best at that. I don't feel like I really have a specific style that I follow. I just do what I think looks good for that thumbnail, and then it kind of works, I guess.
That's really good.
Okay, so that pretty much wraps up this podcast. Thank you so much to Lizzie for joining me on this podcast. It was super fun talking to you, and I hope everyone listening was able to get something out of this podcast. And if you guys have any other questions for me or any of the other members of AGTube Central, don't hesitate to comment them in the comment section, and we will try to get back to you on that. Before I go, is there anything else that you would like to shout out for your channel?
Nothing really. I just feel like everyone who's been watching me is really supportive, so thank you for doing that.
Okay, well, it was really fun having you, and thank you so much for joining. And I guess we'll see you guys in we'll see you guys soon with another podcast. So
Yeah.
bye.
Bye.